And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
And the suggestions he starts coming out with. You see, I knew that would really have tickled your funny bone.
That was probably my favourite scene in the whole show.
Yeah.
It was just so fucking inappropriate.
I was laughing because I knew that you would really laugh at it, you know. Good evening and welcome to Is It a Bicycle, Season 9, Episode 22, the original and bestest ever TV and movie podcast. My name is Stephen Wrigley and I'll be your host for this evening. Beside me, a man who says his stitches are healing well, and the Dyson ball cleaner has a very misleading name. It's Mike McDonough. Beside me, I have a lady who can't believe there aren't people with nut allergy boycotting the Peanuts movie. It's Shona, I love Canada, of Flaherty. And in the red corner, it's our cuddly killer, a man who this week said, "You're the reason I wake up every day." Just kidding, I have a job. It's Mark, superhero Leonard. This week we'll be discussing a movie in the shape of Black Mass and some TV in the form of Saints and Strangers and Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter.
Stop laughing, Steve. Stop laughing.
Should be taking this seriously. Of course, we'll have the usuals with the news and some previews in Coming to a Bicycle near you. So, how are we doing?
Hi, everybody.
Fantastic, Steve.
Did you know Santa's coming soon?
He is.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yes.
Fucking love Santa.
Have you your list made?
Yeah. Made it twice.
What's at the top? Or should I ask you?
I'd like to tell you about my Santa.
Some more duct
who
tape
is,
and a new shovel.
making my Christmas wishes come true.
What's that?
Do tell.
Well, it's almost the 12th of December, or 12/12, as cool people would say. And we're finally, well, hopefully finally, going to see Jose Aldo square off against Conor McGregor to unify the lightweight title.
Yeah.
That's happening this weekend, in case you've been living under a rock and weren't aware. And we've got Weidman Rockhold in the same card, a fight that is, you know, a main event on most cards, but is virtually invisible this weekend. But I'm also really looking forward to it. So there's a feast of UFC actually this weekend. We have Edgar Mendez on the Friday night, and then you have McGregor and Aldo on the Saturday.
That's on Friday night.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And Edgar was told if Aldo pulls out again, he's the guy.
No way.
Ah.
Yeah, so he gets into the ring on a day later instead.
Wow.
And Mendes goes home alone.
We have
Stripped.
we have an invaluable but somewhat onerous opportunity here to make our predictions for Saturday and have it recorded so we can't deny them later when we're proven wrong.
I haven't seen Conor lately. Does he look
How does that matter? He's got shorter hair.
Yeah.
Well, if he comes into the ring the way he did against Chad Mendes, he's going to get his ass handed to him. He was all like skinny and biafran looking, and he had obviously fucked up his weight loss.
Yeah, that's gotten a lot of attention. I had a theory that it was his schedule as well, though. Mm-hmm. He had a ridiculous press schedule for the 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the last one because it was so hyped.
Right.
Hold up. Do you say schedule instead of schedule?
Mm-hmm.
We need to address that before we go on.
Okay.
Does everybody on the
points
podcast
of
say
pronunciation
schedule?
are important.
Mike?
I'd be a scoop person.
Steve?
I tend to mix it depending on the company.
You're the fence sitter, of
Yeah.
course. Okay.
Yeah. It's a social register thing.
Yeah.
All right. So I needed to address that, Mark. Continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had a very busy schedule.
Thank you.
And I think that it just drained him. That's my theory. Like, I'm not basing that on any knowledge that any of you guys don't have. It could have been a messed up weight cut. But I think the two are related. If you listen to Chael Sonnen's podcast, You're Welcome, he talked about how he met Conor 2 weeks out and he had a ridiculous amount of weight still to cut. Mm-hmm. And Chael, who was Conor McGregor before there was one, basically said that the amount of press you can do can catch you out, because usually when you're cutting weight and you have a big fight coming up, that's all you're focused on.
Yeah.
So you can do whatever you need to do to make that weight. But when you've got to be on the radio, on TV, and flying to be on TV, then it's not quite so easy to get all that cutting done. And he thinks that might have happened to Conor, and it probably made that he had backloaded his cut. Yeah. Maybe less than he would or more, than he normally would do.
Because I remember in the the press conference after the fight, he looked so ill. I thought he was going to come out and say he had a serious illness and he was retiring from the fight game.
He did, yeah. He did. And do you know what? When he won, like he was delighted for sure. And when he got up in the cage with his coach, John Kavanagh, he was exulting, obviously. But right after he won, he was like, oh, thank God that's over. At least that's how he looked to me. Which is not what you'd expect from Conor. Like, remember the last time he won a fight before that, he ran out to see if he could get hold of Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
He certainly wouldn't have been jumping any cages and running out the last day. So I think there was a lot of exhaustion there. Like, whatever the source, you're right, you're spot on, Mike. He needs to not come in like that.
Another issue that Chael brought up that I thought was right on the money is think of the amount of pressure both these guys are under. You know, and he says that he reckons Conor's been sort of feathering the nest.
Okay.
Saying to become the best, you have to have a few failures and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
You know, in interviews recently, you know, rather than, unreservedly, I'm going to win. You know, there's no, absolutely. But, he says, you think of the pressure because one of them, because he's never lost. He hasn't lost in 10 years. And he's been the only flyweight champion.
Yeah.
And then Conor has been talking it up so big that, goddamn, he better win. You know?
It's a long way to fall, isn't it?
And could you imagine the amount of money in it for Conor? Like, if he does win, like it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
did you talk about it last week when I wasn't here about the EA Sports thing?
No.
That's a really good story, actually. Yeah, go for it, Mike.
EA Sports have a UFC 2 game coming out.
Yeah.
In the new year. And they have deliberately held off on the cover.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, the cover of the game is going to be the winner of the fight the other night.
What about Ronda? Is she on the cover, I wonder?
She was meant to be, and
No,
then she
she
lost
was.
to...
He's not on the cover
I'd
of
say she'll
anything.
still be on the cover, though, you know?
but the thing is, these guys, they also do the NFL game.
Yeah.
And they have a really, really bad record of putting people on the cover of the game, and they either get a
yeah,
long-term injury or have an awful season after.
Yeah.
that
Okay.
happens.
That's gas, yeah. You were watching something interesting this week, I believe? Something about...
Was I? I was watching the... I've been watching The Last Panthers. I've been keeping up to date on that.
The Last Panthers?
Yeah, do you remember when we reviewed that a few weeks ago?
Remind us?
It was the heist TV show.
Subtitles? That's a subtitle?
Yeah, it had subtitles. It was
There's
committed
the European
Marseille.
wide
They're
one,
a
yeah?
Serbian heist gang. He's the last of the Panthers, has a tattoo on him.
Yeah.
And they have the insurance fraud investigator trying to hunt them down.
Uh-huh.
You might remember the amazing heist scene that kicked off the episode. So I've been keeping up to date with that. Great show. But there was a 6-episode, mini-episode series of Last Panthers Revealed that was on TV as well. And in the 6 mini episodes, they go behind into 6 elements of the show. So one of them is kind of the director and his vision for the show. And he talked about really interesting stuff, like he's filming the show with the same cameras that you would film films in, because he says that most people's TV these days are high quality enough that it can take the quality. So that's why like everyone commented on the visual aspect of the TV show and how good it is.
Yeah.
It's because he's using film quality cameras.
Wow. Yeah.
They also go into meeting the cast and crew. Obviously, they talk about the Pink Panthers and the influence that they had on, that history on the Last Panthers. They talked about filming the heist scene, which is really interesting. Yeah. So if you like the show, I recommend it. It was in the Sky box set. My daughter's been sick this week, so I've been spending a lot of the time in Sky box sets. So.
Instead of looking after your daughter.
Well, in fairness, she's on my lap and I'm looking after her.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Interesting. You mentioned that about the cameras and so on. Because the Hateful Eight, the Quentin Tarantino's one that's coming out next month, 25th of December, actually. He went back and used old lenses. 70 millimeter is what he was making the movie on, and then they decided to use, let's use these really old lenses to get that effect kind of thing. Yeah, so that'll be really interesting too.
So how far back are you talking about?
I'm not sure.
Is it
a long
1960s or 40s?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, 60s, 70s. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, anything else strange or startling on this week, Mike? Mark?
I went back in time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. You might remember earlier this year we talked about Dig.
All right.
Which was
that never really took off, and it was meant to be a big thing. This is
the religious one,
the artifact,
prophesied child, and There was incestual relationships in it.
There were all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. So it was one of those ones that it kind of caught my eye, but I just didn't have time to watch because of all the other crap you guys made me watch.
Yeah, blame us.
So I said, fuck it, I'll go back and have a look at this.
Yeah.
And watched number 2, and I'm kind of hooked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I might have to binge watch the end of
Really?
the series.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
It's just it's got 3 story arcs. It's got the cop who's seen too much.
Yeah.
And a partner he doesn't quite see eye to eye with.
Yeah.
And then there's all the secret cults and archaeology. And, it's great.
Yeah.
Fucking great. Love that stuff.
So you're gonna let us know how that goes.
I will
Yeah,
indeed.
I'd be interested. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the news. Mike, first one's for you.
Uh-huh.
And probably the second one and third. Anyway, first one. Hunger Games prequels are coming.
What?
Prequels?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Lionsgate Vice Chairman Michael Burns has indicated that the studio is exploring developing prequels to its Hunger Games franchise. The first 2 films contained arenas where the 74th and 75th versions of the Hunger Games competitions took place. Oh my god, we've got 73 of them to catch up on.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, the second 2 movies did not. So, yeah. So, I guess that's what they'll be doing.
Is this going to be with or without Jennifer?
Oh, she'd be way too old at that stage.
I was just going to say, how are they going to make her look even younger?
No. I think she said she was done. Did we not already say wave goodbye to her?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so wave goodbye.
I think she's waved goodbye.
Are you aware of the Kim Stanley Robinson's Mars trilogy?
No?
No.
No, sci-fi set of books, obviously. The series follows the first settlers charged with terraforming a mysterious planet, all of who have competed to be part of the mission.
Is this the one with Rock Hudson?
No.
The Martian Chronicles?
No. It's,
Okay.
This has just been ordered by Spike.
Oh,
A whole
okay.
season of it.
Right.
So, yeah, apparently that trilogy is meant to be fantastic. So, yeah. So, we've got some sci-fi coming up. This is the one for you, Mike. Dirty Dancing is getting a reboot on ABC.
Yay!
Another one. We had Dirty Dancing Havana Nights.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I completely blanked that one. But this will be a 3-hour musical, Mike. 3 hours, yes.
Nice.
And it'll be starring Abigail
Patrick Swayze.
Breslin. No. Abigail Breslin, who was in
Isn't she
Scream
like-
Queens.
Little Miss Sunshine, is she that girl? The
Oh,
little one that
is
strips
it?
with her grandpa?
Really? Is that her?
I'm going to have to
God.
Google that.
Yeah, Google that, please.
All right.
God, yeah, because I never made the connection because she was such a kid. And
That's the only place her name sounds familiar to me.
okay.
My, how she's grown.
Mike, another one for you. Stop it. Another one for you, Mike. Hannibal Season 3 has an alternative ending.
No way.
Yeah, and it's only on the Blu-ray release.
Oh.
So, do they or don't they do that or did they?
Oh.
That's the question.
Yeah.
And who cooked that leg?
Oh.
Yeah, apparently all answered.
That did annoy me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you
I
go.
remember
You have to
looking
get
at
the
that
Blu-ray
leg
now.
saying,
Yeah.
who the fuck cooked that leg?
Yeah.
I bet Sean will be interested in that.
Hang on a
He
second.
likes-
News update from Shona.
News update. Abigail Breslin is indeed the
No
little
way.
girl who strips to her grandpa's tutelage
No way.
in Little Miss Sunshine. So now she's going to be in Dirty Dancing. That just seems wrong. And or it makes
Yeah.
all of us old.
So the director of Keanu Reeves' next movie, he wants his name taken off it. Guy Malik Linton will no longer be credited as director of Exposed after claiming the film changed radically after re-editing. So according to New York Post's page 6, the same sources say that the project was originally called Daughter of God and focused on a young Latina and a Dominican family. There was a small white male role. He had to be 5'2". It was 60% Spanish language, and when it was picked up by Lionsgate, they re-edited it and made a boilerplate action movie out of it, or thriller. And with Reeves' role greatly enhanced, was not happy.
All right.
Yeah.
So if he's buggered off, can I get the credit instead? Or
Yeah. One for Mark and Shona. December 17th, we have Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but beforehand we'll have the trailer for the new Star Trek Beyond.
That I'm excited about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are we going to get a Star Trek trailer in a Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we would.
It's going
I
to be
don't
a
think that's
complete
ever happened.
That's like
nerd
overlapping demographic.
Yeah.
Mark, I can't believe you're not more excited.
Why should I be, Steve?
You're not a big Trek fan. I expected nerdgasms going off over there.
Well, what you may or may not realize is I am wearing Captain Picard's top right now.
Oh, yeah, so you are.
So I didn't think that I needed to
noticed it.
say anything. I thought it was evident.
For a podcast, you didn't think you needed to say what you were wearing.
Oh, God, yeah. That's funny. Another one from Mark, 2018, Call of Duty movie.
No way.
Yeah, Activision Blizzard Studios, as they've now called their TV and movie division. They're starting off with Skylanders first, and then there'll be a whole franchise set up of...
Focus, Steve. What's the blurb? What's the synopsis for Call of Duty?
What do you think?
No, I want to know what characters. Where are they starting? Is it Modern Warfare?
Oh,
1?
they don't say. They don't know yet.
Is there anyone called Ghost in it?
There'll have to be. Yeah. And what's his name
I
from
find
24?
your flippancy
I was
disturbing.
going to say,
What are we
Mark,
talking
you
about?
have your serious face on.
I know, he does. He's suddenly concentrating.
Look at that
Yeah, but
brow. It is
You've
furrowed.
got no details
Yeah.
for me.
His
There are
his
no
eyebrows have
details
actually
as of
joined
yet.
together.
You're leaving me with Call of Duty movie plot blue balls.
I know, they're leaving us hanging. I'm telling you, I'll come back to you as soon as
I'll
we've
send
more
the
news on
Dyson
it.
up to you.
Yeah. Right,
Don't pretend to have news, Steve, when you've got nothing.
just headlines, Mark. Cutting to the chase here, you know, so, yeah.
You're cutting around the chase.
You're
There's no
listening to the
chase.
wrong podcast. That's the problem. Yeah, so what's next? Okay. We go to the first of our TV. Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter.
Yeah, very good choice, Shona. I was really glad when
Yeah,
you put this
Shona.
on the list.
Thank you, Mark.
This is-
You
this
know
is
what a
not
fan
the
I
stuff.
am of Adult Swim
Yeah.
and all the previous shows that we've reviewed on this podcast, like Mr. Pickles and Mike Tyson Mysteries. What a huge, huge fan I am of this. So I thought
No, you and me both.
Yeah.
I think if there's anything we can agree on is that we love Adult Swim.
it's Adult Swim
Yeah.
all the way. What a way to spend your time, 22 minutes per episode of gold dust. So the newest offering from Adult Swim is Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter. It's an entire series based upon the costume design of the werewolf hunter who wears neon. And that's about as deep as it goes. End of review. It's, like I said, it comes from Adult Swim, who we've seen do famous shows that would be well regarded, well, I suppose by a certain demographic. Cleveland Show, King of the Hill, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, Mr. Pickles, as aforementioned, and a bunch of other shows. So we start with a great Paul Rudd cameo. It was good to see him. It also stars Scott Adsit, who played Pete in 30 Rock, if any of you watched it. Mm-hmm. He was Tina Fey's sidekick and producer. And then it stars John Glazer as the aforementioned Neon Joe, who we might recognize as Jam from Parks and Recreation, if anybody watches
okay.
that.
That's
So there
who it
were
is,
some
yeah.
actors in this show of
And
a
Stevie from
certain
Eastbound and
vintage.
Down.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Stevie. Eastbound and... You don't know what Eastbound and Down is?
No.
Shame on you, get out.
Sorry.
No.
Do you want me to get
no,
out?
I'm
You
gonna
can
have to,
review
I'm going
this.
to have to enlighten you on that one. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure, yeah. It's
All right,
great.
it's part of my
If you
future
like this,
education.
you're going to love Eastbound and Down.
Oh, great. Well, get back to me at the end of the review. So anyways, we have an episode basically devoted to a town where there has been murders, and they are committed by werewolves, and the town is trying to find the werewolves and stop the killings. So Neon Joe enters the pictures and offers to hunt down these werewolves. Hilarity ensues.
In one of the most funny scenes. I just thought that scene was hilarious. Yeah, in a Father Ted kind of a way, you know.
Okay.
My name is Neon Joe. You may have heard of me. No, we haven't.
Okay, well,
I come from this place. You may know of that. No, we don't.
Let's start with the positives. That scene is funny.
It is
It has
hilarious,
some
yeah.
humor. He's like,
Yeah.
everyone's talking in a town hall about how they're going to solve this werewolf problem, and then he's just like, "You might have heard of me," and then you just have edited quietly in the background. No, we haven't.
Yeah.
And then when he's leaving the thing, he's like, "You know where to find me."
No, we don't.
That's about as funny as this show got.
I like the way he grabbed everyone's attention, though. To nails down a blackboard in a can.
Yeah.
You know, like, I thought that
While he was
thing.
sitting in front of a blackboard.
Yeah. Yeah. It made me laugh, and it's juvenile, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, I would say it lacks kind of enduring funniness, like actual humor. But as always with Adult Swim, I don't think this show is directed at me because I just never find it funny, except for like the odd laugh here.
Yeah.
What else could I say about it? Let me just see here. I thought that some of the best humor of this show would be like what the filler stuff would be in a Seth Rogen film, if that gives you any level of like not funniness. But yeah, there was a few funny moments. I don't really have a lot to say about the show because there's not a lot to the show.
Okay.
But I do have one comparison to make if we're
Yeah.
going to talk about werewolf-related humor.
Yeah.
For anybody who watched 30 Rocks, Tracy Morgan did his Werewolf Bar Mitzvah song. Yeah. It's like one of his famous music videos called Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. It's Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, spooky, scary, boys becoming men, men becoming wolves. Way better. That was funny. That's a good song.
Okay.
It is a good song, Shona.
Probably need to see it in context.
All right, that's not really all I have to say about Adult Swim.
Mike.
Here we go.
Here we go. Wait for it. He's taking a breath.
Shauna. Really.
Don't tell
You
me
know-
we're going to disagree on this, Mike.
Like, we have so much in common together. Like,
We're both Canadian.
and so many reality shows.
We
Like,
do, yeah.
When I Want to Marry Harry, you know, we
Yeah,
both loved that.
we had that. We had SAS Who Dares Wins, and we
Yeah.
had that nun show this year.
Oh yeah,
Becoming
yeah,
a Nun.
Yeah. I bet you watch First Dates too, don't you?
I love First Dates.
I fucking love First Dates.
So we have our reality television taste overlap.
Yeah.
I'll
yeah.
come over here to watch reality TV with you,
Right, yeah.
but I think I'll
but not
leave
comedy.
once you go to script.
Yeah. I was a little bit worried about this because Adult Swim is a bit hit and miss for me. Like Bob's Burgers didn't do it for me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas King of the Hill is one of the all-time great shows. Look at her face. I think she just got a little bit of sick in her mouth.
Started choking on it. Sorry.
I mean, it's stupid. It's indefensibly stupid, but it's nice because it just takes stupid humor and runs with it. It's like
It does, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a guy who ends up in a coma, and the doctor is trying to get his girlfriend to revive him, and the suggestions he starts coming out with. You see, I knew that would really have tickled your funny bone.
that was probably my favorite scene in the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was just so fucking inappropriate.
I was laughing because I knew that you would really laugh at it, you know. Yeah, very inappropriate. There's a very inappropriate funeral scene as well. And there was a great sort of scene where Neon Joe comes on the crime scene of something later after supplying it, or what do you call it? Suggesting they should take his services and sort of going, see? Told you so. This should be said yesterday, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I found it quite funny, and you know, I like that it's 22 minutes. I like that it started off really quickly and you got straight into the story. There's no like background.
Yeah.
It was just Paul Rudd doing the thing.
There was a deliberate background scene where they deliberately took the piss out of giving background to a character.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, I laughed at it. Nearly every scene you knew that there was going to be a laugh in there, or an attempt at a laugh. But yeah, I laughed at it. Yeah, I don't know if it's a series that I'll follow, but I'd like to dip in and out of it. All right. Yeah.
I'd say this could be a regular occurrence on my on my schedule.
I would have to say at best this would be a hangover TV show to watch when you're stuck to the
Oh
couch.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I wouldn't be watching it before I watch Fargo, you know. Or
Thing is, I think it's going to escalate. Actually, the whole best watch baked aspect.
oh yeah,
Like,
actually,
you see those wolves with the
Could be
scary
there.
eyes and stuff,
Yeah.
and there's an undertone of an alien invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
with
true.
With
Oh,
lots
yeah.
of pastel colors.
I didn't see that coming actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's going to pastillate the shit out of your eyes.
Mark.
So, the instant after Paul Rudd left the screen, this became some of the worst rubbish I've ever seen.
Thank you. Somebody to vindicate me.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
Look at him, the big grin on his face.
It's just not funny. It's like, I can't say it enough times. It's not funny.
It just keep
I was
laughing
really
harder as you
surprised.
say it's not funny.
I was really surprised at Shona putting this on the list because I really didn't think this would be your kind of thing. But I guess there are not that many new shows coming out at this time of the year, you know. So the pickings were pretty slim. But even with the pickings being as slim as they are, holy God, I wish I could get that 22 minutes back.
Mark, I was just so enthusiastic to watch it, and I thought, watch it with me. Let's share this moment. Let's become better friends as a podcast by sharing this experience.
Well, at least you and I thought the same about it, so we have shared an experience.
We have, yeah.
Whereas it seems like Steve and Mike were laughing at each other's reactions without being in the same room. So everyone is a bit closer after it, so it's not all
A little
bad.
bit. Well, Mark, you'll still get a Christmas card, but the rest of the podcasters, I'm sorry, you guys are off the list.
Mark, did you like Eastbound and Down?
A little bit only.
A
I
little
watched
bit
the
only.
pilot when we reviewed it. And,
Okay.
Kind of left it there.
Ah, okay. Okay. So, yeah. So, I'd say that this sort of comes from the same twisted humor.
Yeah.
It's not really twisted, though. Like, it's not even, like, well thought out or executed. It's like to find a werewolf, we need everybody's pubes. Like, I don't get what's funny about that.
What about his extra scar?
Okay. Yeah, he
Yeah,
mistook
there's
his butt
stupid
crack for a
things, you know.
scar.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's almost in the airplane sort of realm.
no,
you
it's
know.
not. Airplane is
no,
well
I mean,
thought
I mean
out.
of stupidity,
It's funny.
you know.
No, but it's good stupidity in Airplane. I don't like. It's the cheapest laugh.
But that's what we're all about.
Yeah,
the lowest
I guess.
common
I
denominator.
Yeah. Okay.
You notice how there's nothing to say about this show.
No,
You either like
it's
it or
only
you
22
don't.
minutes long. I think we've covered it all without spoiling it
Yep.
completely.
The show spoils itself.
So I'll take a
Filler.
a podcast
I
now.
think there's a clear crack
I think
in the.
yeah. I think there's,
Butt crack shaped scar down this podcast.
there's definitely 2 fillers and 2 thrillers in this one. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're split camp.
Yeah. Who
Okay.
gets to be the cheeks?
Next one we looked at was a TV was Saints and Strangers. This is the story of the voyage of the Mayflower, which is a ship, if you didn't know, an actual ship, not a spaceship, and the first year of the Pilgrims in America. It stars Ron Livingston, Natasha McElhone, Anna Camp, and many other people.
It stars Pete from Mad Men
And Ray Stevenson.
Oh yeah, so it does.
and his wife from Pitch Perfect. The one who was always having to sing perfectly.
Oh,
That's who it stars.
take your word for it.
Just for everybody out there who doesn't remember actors' real names,
Okay.
like me.
So yeah, so just a year in the life of pilgrims. People who just came off the boat, full of disease, and set up camp just off the beach.
Yeah, this show is, if anything, a lesson in why you should eat your veg, kids.
Yeah.
Don't get scurvy.
Yeah, bring some oranges, vitamin C tablets, effervescence, handy. Yeah, and some water purification tablets. Yeah.
I only saw literally the first 5 minutes of this, but it did look like there was a lot of dirty people.
A lot of dirty people.
Yeah.
Showering was a premium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like they made the effort with the good clean dirt kind of thing.
Yeah, and they did it for at least a year. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. You wouldn't have liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was way too period for you.
Yeah.
1680s, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mark,
1621.
1620. Sorry. Yeah. Mark, did you see this?
I did, Steve.
Yeah. Is it a world
Had a
you'd
pretty
like to
good
inhabit?
week for viewing this week, actually.
Yeah.
Man, did I hate this. Hated it. So bad. I think it took me 2, maybe 17 attempts to get through the episode. And like, you gotta stop putting on long shows that are crap on the list. Like, put short crap ones like Shona did.
This was 3 hours of crap compared to my 22-minute crap.
Yeah, I didn't watch the 3 hours. I watched the first part of a miniseries.
Episode 1. Yeah.
I watched the whole flipping thing.
Did you?
Somebody tell me next time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not even I watched
Don't do that. And if you really hate it,
I wanted
just
to know
stop.
how things ended between the Pilgrims and the Natives.
Okay, so let's try not to be as reductive as I have been already, right? So it was interesting the way they showed us the two sides of the story, right? Because misunderstanding that leads to war is quite simple, right? And it was, in this case, too. But firstly, they did it in subtitles, which is always a mistake. And it wasn't interesting enough, and it was kind of too brief. They kind of got to it, and it became rubbish.
Yeah.
So I didn't really identify very much with the characters. Like it's just not, I just didn't find it interesting. Maybe that's the problem, right? Maybe I wasn't interested in finding out how they all got along or didn't.
Well,
maybe
yeah.
that's where I fell down.
Yeah.
But I wasn't invested in any of the characters on either side. Didn't really care what happened to any of them, and you kind of need to be, I think, in this.
They did spend a lot of time on the drama and people interaction side of things, rather than how they're actually going to, start building from scratch.
Right.
Tools and shit like that.
Did Did MacGyver come along or?
No, well, they did actually in the shape of an Indian.
Okay.
Native
American Indian. Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't mean like Indian,
Yeah,
Delhi
you
Indian.
just wouldn't call them Indians, that's all. Just don't be an asshole on the podcast, okay, Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
When we're not recording, feel free.
Hang on,
Yeah.
this isn't bigotry. This is just
No, I know.
ignorance.
You're just so offensive, Steve. God, I don't know why I even talked to you.
Am I allowed to call them Dutch, or do I have to call them pilgrims?
As you wish.
I'll just call them Americans. How about that?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
First Americans.
Yeah, so we're not confused between India and America. How about that?
Yeah, okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, so in the shape of an American. He knew how to tool stuff and do MacGyvery things. Yeah, so he taught them the ways of the land and how to plant stuff properly.
Yeah.
So they did.
3 beans.
Oh,
Who
3
knew?
beans.
Mm-hmm.
Any batteries?
That was the only bit of MacGyvery stuff in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was his name? Running Monsanto or something? Or?
Oh no, it was something like Saquanto. You weren't far off, actually. Was
Squinto?
it? Squinto? Squanto?
Scrabbo?
Sasquatch. Jeez, I don't know. Anyway, it's beside the point.
It is
Yeah, I agree with Mark. This was an awful drag, and when I finished episode 1, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to know what happens in episode 2. And then they gave us a preview of what happens in episode 2, and I went, I've seen it all. Brilliant. Yeah,
So
that's all I needed to see.
Is episode 2 the end of it? Have I seen
Yeah,
the
I
story
think so.
they're
I think
telling?
it's just 2 episodes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
I was
let's start on
expecting
mine.
something more structured and a bit more meaty.
More
Yeah.
meaty.
Yeah, it was a bit too Little House on the Prairie.
It was vegetarian.
Yeah.
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 Vegetarian without protein. They needed to put chickpeas in there at the very least. So this episode I found, we start with the Pilgrims on the boat from King James's England, I think, making the voyage over to the New World, and it's kind of headed up by a pastor who is Pete from Mad Men, with the beard and dirt on his face, clean dirt on his face.
Was he wearing mascara?
Yeah, he got to eyeliner at one point. It got quite emo. He was
Right.
like emo priest pilgrim
Yeah.
man. And we see on this boat that a lot of people are dying, and you're just like, oh man, that looks really rough. Like at one point the doctor says he can push his finger through the gums of one woman because like her scurvy's that bad. Your toes curl a bit. Then a woman who's pregnant on the boat starts to give birth, and there was a point where the baby's pulled out, and I actually had to pause the TV show because I got so nervous that this baby was going to be stillborn, and in my new motherhood hormonal state would not be able to keep my shit together.
I thought you were going to say it was going to be a werewolf baby.
Just to spice things up. So anyways, that we start with that voyage anyways. It's hard going. They get to land, and from everybody who knows their basic history, we know that there's obviously tension between the Europeans when they met the Native Americans. Is Cape Cod in Canada?
Massachusetts, isn't it?
I don't even know. Is it? Okay, it is America. Anyways, so you know that there's tension there, and you're kind of expecting war to break out at any moment. But instead, the show focuses on the friendship that the English settlers form with the local natives who, like you said, show them how to do stuff so that they don't die.
Yeah.
They also begin trading together and earning each other's trust. So I keep thinking this is building to something, but it doesn't at all. I feel like we're watching an episode of someone playing Minecraft. It's just like,
Yeah.
all right, now your colony's getting bigger. Oh, look, there's more babies now. Okay. Oh, you're trading some other more diverse products now. Oh, and now there's other groups further afield that you're... And it just went on and on.
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
thinking, okay, what story are
Like
they trying to
Sims.
tell us here?
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
Sims. There's not... It's not building to anything. There's no
All you need is the
tension
roller coaster.
at all. there's I think that it's kind of one of the critiques I would give to, and I'm going to say it, George R.R. Martin. In his books, I don't think it quite happens on the TV show as much, but the difference between telling a historical story and telling history is that history just happens, it's ongoing, it's sometimes interesting, it sometimes isn't. But when you're telling a story, you add peaks and troughs in there, and you add tension. And this, like, when you just go through the day-to-day life of pilgrims, like building a colony, it's actually not really that interesting. And I think that's what you're saying, Mark. There's nothing to relate to. It's like they're sowing corn. Okay, now they're...
So this is more of a documentary than a
No, it's
drama.
not at all. They're trying to make it a drama. Like, it's very much a drama story. They have, emo priest, and
Right.
he's running around doing stuff, and people are dying, and because of the scurvy. And then they have tensions with the native peoples, the local natives, and then they're kind of middleman who was sent to them from the kind of the local tribe, who was meant to suss them out. They were going to attack.
Okay.
They become friends, and you start thinking, well, maybe there's going to be something happen here. It's very much trying to be dramatic,
Okay.
but there's no drama, and you can't be a dramatic show without drama. I didn't see any drama myself anyway, so I watched the whole flipping 3 hours of this show.
Oh.
And I can confirm it doesn't get any better. It just keeps dragging. And I won't give away anything in the end. Not like I think any listener is going to go and watch the show based on our review. But it doesn't get better. So that was a waste of my 3 hours. So who can I blame for killing that time? Steve, is that your fault?
Squanto was his name.
Squanto.
Yeah.
Well, he squantoed 3
And
hours.
Squanto was his name. Oh. Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be 3 hours long, actually. In defense.
Dick.
Yeah, I know. Such a dick.
What I will say
Yeah.
is that for something that's so bad, there's like celebrities in there you'd recognize. It also has, this is going to be really bad. Berger from Sex and the City, the guy who dumped Carrie by Post-it note. He's in it.
Okay.
You have Pete from Mad Men. You have what's her name from Pitch Perfect. There's faces you'd recognize in a really shit drama. Like trying to make Americans feel better about like our part in like relations with natives in the first Thanksgiving, when we all know the reality is that we were complete assholes. Anyways.
So Sonny Skyhawk, founder of the American Indians in film and television, an organization established in 1981 to create a better understanding of issues pertaining to the image, portrayal, and depiction of American Indians. He walked away from the project because he thought it lacked integrity.
Ah.
Yeah,
In what way?
he was approached for consulting services. He took issue with the producer's failure to consult in depth with the how do I pronounce this? Wampanoag? I don't know. That's definitely wrong. Tribe. And they gathered first with the pilgrims at the first Thanksgiving feast, and they operate the current Plymouth plantation.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they've a museum there, and still, it was built in the 50s and that kind of thing. But they just sort of went, it doesn't really fit the view that we sort of.
Well, I think it's like the now accepted history of how things went down. Like, we know that we abused, mistreated.
Hang on, what's this we business?
Yeah.
We as
You're getting very
Europeans,
free with that we.
as a non-native community.
No, not us.
All right, the English settlers were horrible, but this TV show.
I blame the English.
Yeah.
The show is the whole thing is really about how good we were to them and how friendly we were, and things must have got bad later because they did it right to begin with. I don't know. I could see why it's insulting.
Yeah,
to the
they
native
well,
community.
they weren't quite insulted. They just felt it was overdone. And
I'd
the version of Thanksgiving and story is kind of a dumbed down version that's always taught, and where they're always portrayed as the one-dimensional savage. You know.
Yeah.
You know, whereas this, they thought it was good that there was a bit more dimensional. You know, where you saw both sides to it, and
So
you
they're
know,
like a two-dimensional savage.
yeah, maybe even 3, sometimes 4. But yeah, that they weren't portrayed as you know, the other stories would lead you to believe. Let's say.
I mean, that's true. I mean, there is a departure finally from kind of I think the two, what's the word I'm looking for? The two faces that we normally see when natives are depicted on screen tend to be either the savage or the noble Indian, and I'm using that term on purpose. That they're either kind of wise beyond their years, they're one with the earth, Pocahontas, or it's like they're, savages who scalp and whatever.
Totally vindicated. There's a website called Indian Country Today.
Okay.
Yeah.
From Bangalore.
But at least this... It's true, like, at least the show does try to show, you know, the relations that were formed between the English and the natives, and that there was friendship there, and you see them learning each other's language. I mean, that part was interesting, but that's still...
Okay.
It's pretty trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a TV show.
It still did feel very dumbed down, you know.
It's 3 hours
like,
of watching people build. Yeah, it's 3 hours of Sims.
Okay.
Or
Let's
Sim
not talk
City
about it for
or
3
whatever
hours.
it's called.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's get back on the Mayflower and sail away from this review.
Okay.
Very nicely.
Trailer filler.
Filler.
Mark.
Lest there's any doubt, that is definitely filler, Steve.
Yeah, filler for me as well, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It had a Lifetime feel to it, didn't it?
Yeah, you know, made for TV,
Yeah,
Lifetime-y. Yeah. Pity. Okay. Let's talk about our movie, which is Black Mass. Who wants to tell us about Black Mass?
So Black Mass is a true story about a gangster in South Boston who is sheltered by the FBI to get information on the mafia, I guess. And he leverages that to become the biggest crime lord in all of Boston. I'm trying to think of his name.
Whitey
Who else has
Bulger.
seen this?
James Whitey Bulger.
James Whitey Bulger, played by Johnny Depp. The ill-fated FBI agent, played by
Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, nice one.
well in, Mike. Well in. Yeah, so that's it.
And Whitey's brother is played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's right.
Yeah. Forgot. I knew he was in this, but forgot until I saw him on screen. And I went, oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's totally in this.
What the fuck are you doing here?
So that's the synopsis. That's as brief as I can make it, I guess.
Okay. What do we think? Have we seen a movie like this before? Did we see one a few years ago?
Yes.
We previewed the trailer.
No, I think we've actually
That was
seen...
the one about the Iceman fella?
Yeah, is that it? Was that it? Was it the Iceman?
I think he might have been part of it, yeah. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But
Yeah. I remember him hanging around on the streets, egging people to come on and sort of,
yeah.
here I am, sitting on the edge of the street waiting for a drive-by kind of thing.
Yeah. And wasn't there another thing, a couple of years, Kill the Irish or something
Oh,
like that?
Kill the Irishman. That was it. Yeah.
I think that's on
Yeah,
the same story.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. What do you think of this?
I thought Johnny Depp, it might well be his finest performance.
All right.
He was unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And, by all accounts, Johnny Depp is a very nice man. And he was so fucking scary in this. I don't know. They did something to his eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was contacts or whatever. But he just looked like, the devil come to dinner,
He certainly had a look, didn't he?
Yeah.
If you compare that Johnny Depp to the Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
you just see the kind of range that guy has.
Yeah.
It's so impressive.
Yeah.
The movie as a whole, I didn't think was great.
Oh.
I thought they focused on the wrong things. and were too lightweight on the right things.
Yeah.
Like, for example, his brother with
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting in that his brother was a big-time politician while he was doing stuff.
Yeah.
But they made it very clear from the very start of the movie that there was a clear delineation between them.
Yeah.
So there's nothing going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
spend that whole story arc saying, no, I'm not involved in my brother's stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? and nothing interesting is going to happen here. So they wasted a lot of the movie. You know, it could have been done in 2 minutes. They probably put 40 minutes of this in.
Yeah.
Then other aspects like the IRA thing,
Yeah.
that could have been interesting, but it was glossed over.
It was pretty glossed over, yeah. They
You know.
just flew through that, just included nearly, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, what I personally think might be the most interesting part of the story is when he's on the run
Yeah.
in his later days. That's literally 15 seconds
Yeah.
at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You could have made an entire movie just about that period.
Yeah, that's true,
That's a really interesting thing. Like, he was on the most wanted list for, 12 years or something?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and
It's
you
nuts.
used to see in the news reports, you know, he's been spotted in Mayo.
Yeah, yeah.
and south of France.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You know, where's Wally kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought they got the balance wrong in that regard. I also thought that the flashback kind of thing, you know, you have guys who were involved,
Yeah.
they're being interviewed, and then it goes back into the story. I didn't think that worked at all. It reminded me of Goodfellas done badly.
Right.
And
Bad fellas.
yeah, bad. And if you're going to make a movie that's going to be a legendary gangster movie, you need a soundtrack.
Okay.
You know, Godfather.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
Everybody
Yeah,
remembers
yeah.
the Godfather
Yeah.
soundtrack. I can't remember even a single chord
Yeah.
from the soundtrack of this movie. It was just background music, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for that reason, I thought the movie was a bit disappointing, despite the fact that there's an awful lot of really good performances in it. Over to you, Steve.
Yeah, I have to agree that Johnny Depp was class.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely class. And back on form.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you spot Kevin Bacon?
I
Peter
did.
Sarsgaard?
Yeah.
And Jesse Plemons? They were also in it.
I didn't see
Yeah.
Sarsgaard. Where is
Who
he?
else was in there? Juno Temple
Mm-hmm.
was in there. Yeah, I think that's about it that I spotted. But anyway, yeah, you know, I'd great hope for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Was really enjoying it, and then it, I don't know, it sort of flatlined a bit, and like you say, it skimmed over a few things that I think they should have.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing too much driving around visiting people.
Yeah.
You know, rather than examining the interesting issues or the interesting occurrences, let's say.
Yeah. Was it just me, or did you kind of wonder what he did every day?
Yeah, yeah.
There was no thing about his business.
Where's
you know?
the income? You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that was it, right? You know, when you said, Mike, that they didn't focus on the right things, it kind of, a light bulb went off in my head about where my problems were with this film. Because I agree with both you guys that this is a tour de force for Johnny Depp. Like, it is one of his best performances ever, I think. But like, the rest of the film was telling a story and not really working on it. It's almost like what you had to say about the Mayflower Shona, about not keeping it interesting, not dramatizing it in the right way. Like, if you think back to The Sopranos, that was a huge hit, and in the exact same wheelhouse, that was great because you got to see criminals do their criminal stuff, and that was interesting. Same in Breaking Bad, but from a different angle. Like, they could have shown us, you know, so we meet him and he's a low-level crime lord,
Yeah.
and by the end he's massive. And no talk about how he got there or
Yeah.
the slick moves he made, because there must have been some.
Yeah.
And he was manipulating the FBI, and we found out about that by accident
Yeah.
when the FBI agents were being investigated. You know, and I thought that was the wrong way to do that too. But it's just the characterization, I guess, was the strength, and the storyline was the weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who wrote this?
Who wrote this one?
Mm-hmm.
Afraid I don't know.
Oh.
We're missing Sean for that.
Can't have been somebody good. Sean is now listening to the podcast going, it was fucking so-and-so, you stupid bastard. You didn't do your fucking research.
What was I going to say? This to me was nearly a movie about menace and showing how he sort of menaced people.
Yeah.
Menaced them in the face, you know.
He menaced the shit out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just even when he's like joking with one of the guys at the dinner table about his family secret, about it's a recipe. You know,
that was the trailer.
Yeah, it's in the trailer. Yeah.
That whole scene actually is in the trailer, and it really focused well on the strengths.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just Johnny's charisma as this really scary bastard.
Yeah.
FYI, guys, for the record, the writers of the screenplay were Mac Maluk and Jez Butterworth.
All right. Have they written anything
Let's see.
significant? Let's see. Nope.
Join us after these breaks.
Please wait.
Best known for Rush,
Oh, okay.
Everest, and A Walk Among the Tombstones.
All right, okay.
Yeah, that's our friend
You can
Mark.
see the walk among the tombstones, all right.
Yeah, and Everest was shit too.
Well, no, I wasn't going for the shitness. I was just going for the
And
theme, I guess.
Jez Butterworth, Edge of Tomorrow, Spectre. Let's see.
He was
Okay.
involved in Age of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Which was, I
What
think we
happened?
agreed, one of our best films of last year.
Holy heck. Like, he wrote possibly the greatest science fiction film of our time, and he made such a mess of this.
That's
There
shocking.
you go.
Yeah, I you know what? I'm gonna find this very tough to mark because Johnny Depp was really good, really good, but yeah, kind of interest waned for me. I don't know if it's because I knew the story and I'd seen what I felt was a better movie before on the subject. It's not going to be a strong mark. Very average.
Tell us, Steve, what do you think?
Very average, in fact.
What do you think?
Has it got averageitis?
Yeah, it's in around a 5 at most, kind of. You know, it's a just over the line 5, I think. Yeah.
There's been
You know, it's
there's
just
been worse
it's-
movies you've
it-
given 5s to.
There have, but I haven't been let down as badly as I have been with this. You know.
Okay, so
Maybe
that's
it
the
was built-
disappointment factor.
Well,
that's,
you know,
that's what you're going
I
for.
saw the
Yeah.
trailer, and the trailer built me up, and then I thought, oh, this is going to be a great movie, and
Yeah,
it's brilliant, and
yeah.
he looks brilliant, and it's going to be like, I don't know, well, not quite a Godfather, but, you know, up there.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't at all.
Mhm.
And, yeah. So you know, it's not something that it's... There's a lot better movies out there at the moment, I think. Like, this is going to probably
Name
fade
7.
into obscurity. It's not going to make monster numbers, I think, you know, so, yeah. 5 for me. Yeah.
Yeah, like you, I'm torn between the performances generally. Like, Johnny Depp was amazing, but the other cast all did their jobs really well. It's just that nothing to work with. You know, even the minor characters, not the Benedict Cumberbatches of this world, but the people that you do have to IMDb to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
They all did great work. Even little Granny giving him a hug on the side of the street. She was good.
Yeah.
You know?
It was kind of cool to see Boston, though.
Yeah,
You
looks
see a
like
lot of
such
Boston.
a dump, huh?
Well, I don't know if it's all like that now, but
Yeah.
certainly back in the day it was.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a nice big exit road now. Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark.
It's a tough one. I think I'm a 6 as well. I think you're right, Steve. In a lot of ways, it is a 5 movie, but I just think Depp is so good. Like, you can just watch him through this and try and forget about the kind of the doldrums of the story. and I think it's worth it. So it's a 6 for me.
Probably early front runner for next year's Oscar, I'd say.
You think?
Well, I think so.
Oh, for Johnny?
For Johnny.
Yeah, it's probably a nomination in there, all right, but I think it's the wrong kind of movie for an Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, Brooklyn is like up there.
Yeah.
Just because of the type of movie it is, nearly, you know?
Yeah.
And there's bound to be several diverse movies between now and then as well. So, just to keep the voters happy, let's say. But yeah, I don't know, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we should come back and talk about this when
we should.
Nominations are out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, it doesn't have the Brooklyn, what's the word, niceness about it.
Yeah.
But there's a whole shit ton of people that think that Johnny Depp is Jesus Christ incarnate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So.
To those people, I would say, have you guys seen the recent cologne ad that features Johnny Depp?
No.
I haven't.
Like driving through a desert, and he's like, "What kind of man am I?
Dry.
What's this world?" And it's just like, it's almost as bad as that Brad Pitt. I think it was a Chanel. Fragrance commercials themselves are just kind of ridiculous. I think we can all agree because
who did a brilliant one last
no
year?
one has smell-o-vision. But the new Johnny Depp cologne ad, I don't even know what he's selling, but it's just like, shut your face, Johnny Depp. You've ruined your cred. And now I've got to listen to you talking, wax lyrical about life, selling me a fragrance I can't smell.
Oh, God.
That's all I have to say about that.
Have you seen the Matthew McConaughey Lincoln ad? Where he's driving around in a Lincoln.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Have
And
you
this
seen
is still worse than
the
that.
Jim Carrey McTake out of
No.
that? Oh, it's brilliant. Look it up. He's on SNL.
I
doing
will.
It. It is brilliant. If you watch them back to back, it's even funnier. Yeah,
Okay.
Because he really nails it. Yeah.
That's my viewing when I go home tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, we'll go to some previews. I'm coming to a bicycle near you. So the first one is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2, Sword of Destiny.
I like your pronunciation of sword. Surprised it's taken Shona this long to react.
Lack of sleep, my friend.
I enjoyed the first one. And if this is half as good as the first one, I'll enjoy this one too.
But don't you think the first one was so good because you hadn't seen that kind of cinematography before, and now it's commonplace, or at least you've seen it, and that was the major selling point, and now you're kind of thinking, how is this film relevant? Because that's what I thought.
Well, I've a couple of sort of, I don't know, things I'm not that happy about with the trailer.
Okay,
one is
go
that
on.
the first one was an epic.
Yes.
Like it was a true epic. It covered a lot of ground, literally, and there were many stories, right? The second one was, it was in the native tongue. This one looks like it's not, or dubbed, which I don't think was fitting with the whole environment, let's say, that you're set into.
Tone.
Exactly, and that made the first one, I think.
Yeah,
you know,
did.
I don't think it would have been half the movie if it was dubbed. Now, Mark will really, really disagree with me, but I
cannot
think it
disagree
really
with you
makes
strongly enough, Stephen.
makes the movie, you know.
Yeah. I
but-
think my biggest concern actually was the construction safety standards. The city of buildings collapsing everywhere.
But it does, like the trailer focuses quite a lot on the swashbuckling element to it, and the jumping around bits and so on. And some of it does look amazing, but I hope it's not all that. I hope it's not going to be. I don't know how long it is. Oh, but I remember the first one was quite long, wasn't it? 2.5 hours or something.
First one was seriously long,
It was like a year and a half long or something.
Year and a half. But
At least, I think me and Mike thought the same about the first one.
but I hope it's not the same. Just fighting all the way through it. I hope there's a bit of depth to it.
But I
But
hope I don't have to watch
it's also
it.
Netflix.
That's what I hope.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
I hope I don't have to watch it. So, the reasons why it is okay for somebody to fly. Falling. In an airplane. On a glider of some kind. From Krypton. In a metal suit. An Asgardian god or other superpower. Reasons it is not okay to fly. None. Which is what they give you in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. people can randomly fly for no reason.
They are superheroes.
And in this, sometimes they replace those people with bad CGI. So this is not going to be better than the rubbish Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I hated Crouching Tiger so much, I didn't even get where I was.
Sorry, say that again? You didn't what?
I didn't get to a point where I cared about the subtitles.
Oh, right.
So I was just looking up and going, why are you flying? There's no reason. Why is your sword bendy? That's just not useful. But I'm being facetious about that. I get the bendy swords in Chinese martial arts, but I just hated it. And this, I was looking at this going, man, I remember struggling through that film because I was big into martial arts at the time and everyone was raving about it, but they were wrong. So they'll be wrong again. So please, God, don't make me watch this.
I'm with Mark. The original is on a strong contender on my top 10 list of all-time movies I hate the most. So I certainly won't be watching any fucking sequel.
Wow, you surprised me, Mike. Yeah, can't wait to see this. Can't wait till we all review it. Should make for an interesting discussion.
See, I would be kind of middle ground there because I liked the first Crouching Tiger because I thought it was a new take on showing martial arts in film. Because I wouldn't be, huge into fighting or violence, and I thought it was almost poetic the way that it was shown. I kind of liked the dancing on trees element to the fight style.
Yeah.
But this...
the trees. I'd forgotten about the trees.
The fucking trees. Oh my God.
But, this trailer kind of didn't show me any of that magic, and even if it had, I would say, well, I already saw that film, because I think you can only be taken by a style once. Like Life of Pi. We've seen now that amazing kind of artistic CGI. So the next film that tries to do that, I'll say, yeah, but I already saw Life of Pi, and Crouching Tiger has been done, so I don't know why they're beating this dead horse. And on top of that, it doesn't look like this film is going to have that magic of the first one that they were trying to depict, so I'm not sold.
All right. Okay.
So Mike, Shona, and Mark say no. But Steve says yes, and he might possibly make us watch it.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. It makes for
That's
good listening.
not democracy,
Makes for good
Steve.
listening.
Steve may meet with an accident that week.
Yeah. So speaking of beating a dead horse, the next one we saw was Jane Got a Gun. So this is
In which no horses were dead or beaten in the trailer.
A woman asked her ex-lover for help in order to save her outlaw husband from a gang out to kill her, or out to kill him. This stars Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, and Rodrigo Santoro.
Doesn't just star Natalie Portman, it stars possibly the best Natalie Portman I've ever seen.
This is true.
This looks really, really good. I actually can't wait to see this one. It has all the good things about cowboys and outlaws and guns and stuff.
I don't know. I still can't bring myself to forgive her for Star Wars.
Come on, that was George Lucas's fault.
I know, but
Everybody knows.
She's still guilty by association. She cashed that fucking check.
She did. You're right, Mike. You're right. But at the same time, you have to look at it though. Like, she gave birth to Luke Skywalker, and how can you really hold that against anybody? She basically, what is it for a girl? What's the girl of sired? Mired? No, that's something else. She is the mother of the Supreme Pontiff of my religion.
The progenitor.
I'd say she conceived.
Yeah.
Because if you sire, it's like, anyways, go on.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. We don't need to have this discussion right now.
I
was trying to tempt you in.
I think this one will pass the Bechdel test.
No.
I didn't see any other woman in it.
Yeah, that's
But it
true.
didn't even pass it in the trailer, though.
Yeah.
All right, good point. Yeah.
All of our conversations were about men. Okay, actually, Mike's right. They were with other men, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think...
Does that make it worse or better?
So, is this like a well-known cowboy story, this Jane character, or is this like a new...
Is it not a musical? Am I thinking of
No,
something
this
else?
is an original
She's not
story.
Calamity Jane, Steve.
Oh yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
She's not Calamity Jane.
I thought Calamity Jane gets a gun. Now that would be a good movie. Yeah.
I thought this trailer looked like they were trying to tell a Western, but instead of having a guy cowboy, we're having a woman cowboy. But it's still not interesting to me, so I actually don't want to see this.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
So the next one.
Just before we move on, might just comment on the soundtrack. Soundtrack sounded really excellent.
Oh yeah.
On that,
Who was on the soundtrack? I never pay attention to the soundtrack.
Bon
it just
fucking
sounded really
Jovi.
good.
Really?
And because, and do you know why I noticed it? Because I watched these back to back, and the Crouching Tiger one had a great soundtrack as well, which will not save it. But then I went, oh, the two trailers this week both have really good soundtracks. Anyway, continue, Steve.
Next one I looked at was Mojave, and this has Oscar Isaac, Garrett Hedlund, Mark Wahlberg, Louise Burgoyne. Is it Burgoyne?
Burgun?
Burgoyne, I don't know. Walton Goggins. So this is about a near suicidal artist escapes to the desert only to encounter his doppelganger-like antagonist, a homicidal drifter, played by Oscar Isaac, who's almost unrecognizable, as always.
Yeah.
He always looks different every movie.
They did a great bait and switch in the trailer. So I didn't know anything that you'd said about that synopsis, Steve, when I was watching the trailer, right? So you're just looking to see, what is this film? And at the very start of the trailer, he's driving through the desert. It's called Mojave, so we know roughly where it's going to be set. And the Jeep turns over, and he heads off into the wilderness carrying a jug of water that is plenty too small to let anyone survive. And I was going, oh, Christ. This is going to be man against wilderness, and screw this.
Yeah.
And then 4 seconds later, he meets this stranger guy, and all of a sudden it's a completely different film that I'm really interested in. So I like what they did there. It was good. Good bait and switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks awful Cape Fearish.
It does. You know that? And, I bet he at least dies once or nearly dies, and then there's a little twitch from his finger off camera. And then
Imagine
he'll
if he
catch
came
up
back when they weren't expecting him.
He'll come back 2 or 3 times. No, that's what it kind of looks like. It looks like, your typical Cape Fear scenario.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it's not. It's Oscar Isaac, and I haven't seen a bad movie with him in a while now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Where was Mark Wahlberg?
Didn't see him in the trailer actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe he could rescue this.
maybe. Maybe.
I don't know if it needs rescuing. It looked good to me, but you're right though. If there is nothing Mark Wahlberg can't rescue.
He rescued fucking Transformers.
Kind of did.
Debatable. Yeah.
It is, yeah, but he kind of did though.
Do you see this?
Yeah, I did. I don't have a lot to say about it. It looks like it's trying to be an epic film that I'm not interested in, so. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody needs to put the joy back into Shona.
Yeah.
Well, people running around a desert, I feel like we reviewed a trailer in the last year anyways. It had the same kind of dealio, and it's just, I don't know.
Thelma and Louise.
Just doesn't interest me.
I've got something for you to get you the joy back into your life.
All right, whet my appetite. Go.
It's a Christmas story. I forgot to talk about it earlier.
Shona loves
Christmas.
It's
wow.
it's a very Murray Christmas.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the Bill Murray
Murray's
special.
Great. So how great would a Christmas
I know.
special with Bill Murray be?
I know. How brilliant
Could
would it
you
be?
tll me, Steve?
Oh, I just
Is there
couldn't
just one Bill
express-
Murray?
What? Just one Bill Murray. But yeah, what? Jeez, too many. Overload. Yeah, and there's quite a few other stars. And Tina Fey and Tina Fey's in it. And there's George Clooney's in it.
Ooh.
There's,
So is it like a fiction story? Like a...
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's not like
Oh
a
yeah.
skit
Like
or something?
what it's about is, Bill Murray is in New York. It's snowed out. Everything's closed. Bridges, tunnels, everything's closed. All the roads, and so he has to go on live and do his Christmas special, but no one can turn up. So all the seats all have the names of the people that are turning, like George Clooney, blah blah blah, loads of people, big names. And so he's on his own. And what they're going to do, Tina Fey decides, she's the producer, that they're going to cut in some clips from the previous year's Golden Globes to make it look like they're in the audience laughing at him, right?
Okay.
But he's just on this tiny little stage in a club on his own, and it's being broadcast live. Right?
So he's playing himself then?
He's playing himself,
Okay.
yeah, and he's freaking out, and he doesn't want to do it. And eventually managed to get him up on stage, and then he just, I just can't fucking do this anymore. And he goes off stage, and he goes out into the lobby, and what do you call it? What do you call that comedian, brilliant guy, American, black guy?
Dane Cook.
Black guy. He can be quite controversial at times.
Chris Rock?
Chris Rock. He just happens to be walking past the doors outside, and he's going, "Oh my God, Chris Rock, come in! How did you get here?" He's like, "Subway, man." And he's just like, "Come in, you have to do this." And he's, "No fucking way, I'm doing this, right?" And so he persuades him to get up on stage to sing with matching jumpers,
Okay.
kind of thing.
Right.
And Chris Rock can't sing, and that was the joke.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And so they sang the whole song.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I went, okay, I kind of see where this is going. Then another star appeared, and then they did something with that, but they sang the whole song. And then he went into another thing. There was a waitress, and she sang a whole song to him. You know, "Oh baby, it's cold out," this kind of thing. I was just going, Jesus.
That sounds almost like a musical, Steve.
You know, it's kind of like, what I'd expect from like the Muppets, but the Muppets would be funnier, a lot funnier.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have musical numbers with funny stuff in between. It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
It wasn't entertaining, and I was very, very let down because I love Bill Murray. Bill fucking Murray.
Everything I've read about this, it says it's a train wreck.
Oh,
it's
it's
just
awful.
terrible.
It's
Like, there's no
awful.
structure, it's pace,
It's
it's
awful.
content, it's tone. Yeah.
I thought about putting it on the list. I actually did for this week, and then when I saw it, I was just like, I can't put people through
can't
this. So
make
I
us.
just.
So you put on Saints and Sinners instead
So
and give us
but look,
3 hours
believe
of viewing.
me, that's 3 hours. This thing was like, it was an hour and a half, or an hour and a half. It felt like 17 hours.
Really?
Yeah, you were saved. You should be thankful that you
So
watched Saint and
You
Strangers.
actually fell on the grenade this week, Steve.
Oh man, did I what? Yeah. Because
Thank you.
I started watching it with my brother, my brother half, my better half, and sort of looked at each other.
Your better half is your brother?
But yeah, I don't have any brothers. And so we looked at each other about 15, 20 minutes into it and went, I hope this isn't what it's all about. You know, I hope this is just like, a mistake.
The setup
at the
to something
start. Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. So this is a long build up to a joke, Yeah, the joke never came.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah.
That means the joke's on you.
I was devastated.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Anyway.
Is there any other good Christmas viewing, do you think, coming up? Or
Willy Wonka's always on. He's always good.
Yeah.
Die Hard.
I watched
series.
Elf when I put up my Christmas tree, so that was watched this
Elf,
week.
did you? Yeah. That's great.
It's a Wonderful Life was on
It's a Wonderful Life.
just
Brilliant.
last weekend, which is
it's me.
pretty early.
I'm gonna
was
say-
thinking, this isn't Christmas.
I'm going to say something pretty controversial. I don't really like watching black and white films. The only exception is Casablanca.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I used to have a rule I wouldn't watch anything made before 1980.
Wow, that's worse than subtitles.
Yeah, that's worse than Sean. Sean at least makes some effort.
Have you seen Miracle in Oh, no, you wouldn't have seen that either.
No.
Wow. No, that's definitely... No, you have to stick that on.
Nah.
See, no,
I've seen enough clips of it, like, to know the gist.
Jimmy Stewart.
Is that like the angel gets his wings, like the bells ringing
Yeah,
thing?
don't spoiler.
I can't believe
spoiler
you don't
alert.
like black and white. What is wrong with
I
you?
know, I really think Wonderful Life, you should make
Yeah.
make an effort for that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But get
Sorry,
hammered
guys.
first.
yeah.
You need loads of port for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Loads
right.
of port and
Now
a
you're singing
roaring
my
fire.
songs.
Yeah. Mark, have you any that you watch every year, apart from Die Hard?
Well, we're
Just
going to be
got that.
watching a Star Wars movie a year for quite a long time. I've got my tickets for the Star Wars premiere at midnight next Wednesday.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
exciting.
I'm thinking about doing some kind of special Is It a Bicycle thing,
Oh, for sure.
just to let everybody out there know whether they should go and see it or not.
You
Because
should interview people who are also queuing for the film about their expectations and then play it for us.
Then meet them afterwards.
it'd be interesting, actually. I don't know if I'm
wouldn't
going to
it?
go that far, because I'm going to be under a bit of time pressure, because
Effort. Yeah.
it's the last rehearsal before Christmas of Jesus Christ Superstar. And everybody knows that means that we're going to spend the last 45 minutes singing Christmas carols in
God.
5-part harmony.
Oh, God.
That's,
or what
now
they
you're
think is
singing my
harmony.
song.
What,
So,
5-point harmony?
That is literally how we spend Christmas Eve in my house growing up, because my mom's a music director and my dad's musician and my sister's musician.
All right.
So my mom would always do the late church service, and my sister, who's a brilliant pianist, would sit down, and she, me, my dad, and her boyfriend would drunkenly stand around the piano and practice our 5-part harmonies to sing to Mom when she got back from church. And that's my life.
Would it turn into a 5-pint harmony then by the time you got back?
Peach schnapps seem to be our drink of choice because my
Oh.
sister had just learned how to make them.
God, I'd forgotten all about peach schnapps.
How do you make peach schnapps?
You
It's
just buy
vodka
it.
and orange juice. So,
So where's the peach come in?
I don't know.
You don't have to do that. You
You're
can
asking
actually buy
hard
peach
questions.
schnapps that taste like peaches.
We were OGs.
Oh, okay. Is that oh Jesus?
Original gangster.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyways, sorry, Mark. 5-part harmonies, go.
Yeah.
And afterwards we go for a couple of beers.
Ah.
Nice.
But of course, my joke about 5-part harmony and 5 pints has been used by Steve
Yes.
several times. So
Sorry.
you
I
all broke
interjected.
my comic impetus, which sounds like I'm not able to do something in the bedroom, but that's not true.
Sorry, man. It wasn't on purpose.
So once we have the 5 beers, it will be time for the cinema screening. So it actually lined up really well in terms of not having to hang around.
That sounds great.
Nice.
So I'll be heading in there then to watch Star Wars. So I can remember watching The Phantom Menace all those years ago. So just excited and couldn't wait to see somebody new use a lightsaber on a movie. And then gradually, as the film wore on, I couldn't dare look left or right at my friends because if I did, we'd be admitting that this was shit.
Yeah.
And I could feel all of my dreams just being broken inside me. And it was a very bitter man that emerged. And instead of saying things like, George Lucas is great. Sure, he only has one idea and he made 3 films about it, but he did it well and cheaply. To just going, George Lucas needs to fucking take a back seat.
Yeah.
Not in the back of the speeder. He needs to be further back than that. Which he has done, of course. And that's why I'm hopeful again for this movie.
He's seen it already.
Sorry?
He has seen it, and he has commented on what he thought of it.
Has he?
Yeah.
And what was he saying?
And it wasn't all pleasant.
Oh,
Good.
well, you'd expect
That's
that
probably
of
a good
him,
thing.
yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But I was
His
hoping he'd hate it because God knows people needed to start telling him no for the last 3 films and nobody did.
Yeah.
But my only hope for it, right, is there's a mild Star Wars quote in there. But my hope for this film is that it's story and character focused and not CGI kiddie bullshit movie like the prequels were.
Yeah.
So try and tell a story. Just try and tell a story and try and develop some characters while you're doing it. I'd be happy. That's all. It's not too much to ask.
I think you'd have a pretty good idea with all the trailers that have been out. There's only about 17 minutes of footage that we haven't seen.
Did I ever tell you guys about my history with Star Wars? That in Canada, at the end of the school year, you know how you always get shown films when the teachers have run out of curriculum, but they can't send you home?
Oh, yeah. Go on, yeah.
The films that we were always shown was Star Wars, but in French.
Right.
So I've seen the original 3 films a gabillion times, but in French, and it didn't warm me to wanting to watch them in English.
Yeah.
So the only films I had to hold on to were the prequels, which, as Mark has stated, weren't great.
Yeah.
So because I feel like Star Wars should be part of my viewing canon. So I'm looking for a film to warm me to the series.
Will you go back and
in
watch
English?
The originals?
I don't.
So Star Wars has
I've
effectively
seen them
been
so
stolen
many
from you.
times in French that I just don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
It was funny.
Je suis ton père? Fuck that shit.
Luke, je suis ton père. And then Luke's like, zut alors.
C'est très péo. You just remind me there, when we were
No,
kids.
Chewbacca could speak French.
Well, when we were kids, we had the same situation where we got the whole theater thing in the gym hall in school, and it was a projector that he rented in, I think, or something, but it was all reel to reel, a projector. But the one that he thought was suitable, right, for all the kids, and I remember, this is from first class up, so that's 7 years and up, right? Just 6, maybe, just gone 7 years and up. And the first movie he picked was Alligator, which is about an alligator in the sewers attacking and eating people. Right? I remember we were in about 3rd class, and we were about 9, but we're still oh my, there's arms, they show an arm washing out, the sewer pipe, and just loads of blood everywhere. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's like, nice one. Appropriate. Yeah.
That reminds me that the other film that we were showing at home,
Yeah.
because it actually doesn't have, what's that when you had to pay royalties? Is it copyright?
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah. I know what you mean.
Schindler's List, because it was free to show. So, other than Star Wars and French, I've seen
God.
Schindler's List more than I should have.
Funny. All right.
Chew on that, listeners.
Yeah, we'll leave it
Yeah.
there on that happy note. So yeah, so back next week, hopefully Sean will finish this novel. How's that novel coming, Sean? So
I can hear him pulling out his hair from here.
I know, yeah. So from Mike Mark, Stephen Shona, stay classy.